Back and forth all season for the AL Central lead.
Way back, and that ball is gone.
The Tigers and White Sox square off tonight at Comerica Park. The fans will be on the edge of their seats. And with only 7 head-to-head games remaining, every pitch,
he got him, strike 3.
Every inning will be crucial between these bitter rivals. Who is going to take home the AL Central crown? The final push begins tonight.
Back here at Comerica Park as we get you ready for baseball tonight on a glorious evening here in downtown Detroit. And we are ready for tonight's first pitch of the ball game as Dwayne Wise settles in. And here we go. The first pitch is fouled off the bat of Wise. No balls and 1 strike. Game 1 in this 3-game weekend series. Tigers and the White Sox. Wise batting .269 with 6 home runs this year at the major league level. Here's the 0-1. Lifted down the left field line and back out of play. No balls and 2 strikes. Tigers come in trailing Chicago by 3 in the American League Central, trying to shake off the effects of the sweep in KC. Doug Fister ready with the 0-2. And it's inside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Another big crowd here tonight. We expect huge crowds all weekend for this 3-game series. Here's the 1-2 offering. And Wise pops it up. Third base side. Cabrera giving a look. And he can't quite get there. Here are the pitching numbers on Doug Fister presented tonight by Soaring Eagle Casino.
A couple of starts ago, Doug Fister tweaked his right groin. Therefore, they skipped him 1 time through the rotation, but he has pronounced himself healthy. And he is back out there today. He has a 3.67 ERA, 102 strikeouts. He's given up 11 home runs, and the opponents are hitting .259 against Fister.
Doug ahead in the count, 1-2. Dwayne Wise leading it off for Chicago. And he missed inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Wise was designated for assignment by the Yankees in July and picked up by Chicago. He hits this one in the air to center field. Backing up is Austin Jackson, and we have 1 gone. There's the rest of the lineup for Chicago, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers tonight. You saw Wise. He's followed by Euclid and Dunn. Konerko is the cleanup man. Rios in right. Pierzynski having a career year. Viciedo, Ramirez, and Beckham, your bottom 3 tonight for Chicago. So here is Kevin Euclid, who's having a whale of a season in a White Sox uniform after being acquired from the Boston Red Sox. Hasn't done a whole lot against the Tigers. 135, but he has a couple of home runs. And Fister starts him off with a strike, 0-1.
Robin Ventura, the manager of the White Sox, gave Euclid the afternoon off yesterday in Baltimore. He wanted him to be fresh for this weekend series against the Tigers here in the Motor City.
Slow roller hit toward third base. Charging is Cabrera. His throw is high and not in time, and Euclid is aboard. It's basically a swinging bunt.
Well, you knew it was going to be a base hit the way that Cabrera is moving these days. He's not 100%. Jim Leland told us as much before the game, and he gets in, and then he tries to throw off that right foot. And that right ankle is the ankle that's bothering him, so he couldn't put any pressure on it. Therefore, he threw the ball high.
Ruling this an error, by the way. E5.
They'll change that.
Yeah, they've got to change that. So I've got to hit my scorebook, and I'm going to keep it there. Here's the pitch to Dunn, and it's a ball inside, 1-0.
Official scorekeeper must have been listening to talk radio all day.
Is that where he's getting his info?
Well, you know, a lot of people upset with the fact that Miguel hit into that double play last night to end the game.
Here's the 1-0 pitch, and it's a ball low. 2-0 on Adam Dunn. So for now, it's an E5 to Cabrera. Off the bag at first, Euclid. Very modest lead. And the 2-0 to Dunn. It's in there as strike, 2-1. Fister coming off that start in which he gave up 7 runs against the Orioles. in 3 2/3, but prior to that had gone 7 consecutive starts in which he gave up 3 runs or fewer.
He wasn't healthy when he took the mound that night, and he admitted as much. They say that he tweaked his groin when he was warming up in the bullpen, but yet he still went out there, and that's one of the reasons why his numbers weren't pretty. He walked 3, he had 6 strikeouts, but the 7 earned runs are not very Doug Fister-like.
Meanwhile, it's 3-1 on Adam Dunn, who, well, he is leading the league with 38 home runs. His batting just .204. And he takes outside, ball 4. That'll put 2 aboard now for the White Sox.
And Beaumont Health System will sponsor the Tigers' defensive alignment here this evening, just as it does every single game. Dirks, Jackson, Bosch in the outfield. You've got Prince, Infante, Peralta, Cabrera in the infield, and Alex Avila putting down the signals tonight for Fister.
So here is the cleanup man, Paul Konerko, having another solid season. .312 this year for Konerko, and his numbers against the Tigers awfully good. Way outside, 1-0. Fisker came in with an ERA of 3.67 despite a sub 500 record, 7-8. They have Youkilis and Dunn aboard. Here's the 1-0. Inside, 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, if Fister makes a quality pitch at the bottom of the zone, and he can get that ground ball and get the double play to get himself out of the inning. Paul Konerko has grounded into 13 double plays this year.
Earlier this season, Konerko hit his 400th career home run. That came way back in April. Now the 2-0. In there for a strike, 2-1.
Adam Dunn also hit his 400th career home run this year as well, didn't he, in a White Sox uniform?
Yep, so a pair of teammates did it in the very same season.
First time ever.
Dunn leading the league with 38. 2 balls, 1 strike. And he missed inside. 3-1 now on Konerko. So Fisker has not come out very sharp in this one. He's fallen behind the last 2 hitters. Rios waiting on deck. It's been a much improved White Sox team offensively this year. And they've also been very good with the glove as well. Konerko sends it high in the air, right field, playable. Bosch cruising back. He'll make the play. Youkilis tagging but holding. And Konerko is retired. 2 gone. He'll bring up Rios.
Alex Rios having a monster year, hitting over 300 with 20 home runs. He's driven in 75, and he's been one of their best hitters with runners in scoring position. But the Tigers have handled him this year. The batting average just at 200 for Rios.
Well, last year Rios hit just 13 homers. He already has 20 this year. RBI numbers way up. Trying to drive in a 2-out run here with 2 on and 2 away. Ball 1 to Rios. This is what he was doing at the end of August last year. He was hitting .214. Look at the average bump. And the RBI bump. The 1-0. Hit to the third baseman. Cabrera knocks it down. Still has time. His throw is in time for the out. Gabby is able to make the play, and the White Sox threaten but do not score. They strand a pair. Evening, 91 degrees. Our temperature feels like 95. Hot, hot, hot indeed as the Tigers get ready to take their swings now against Jake Peavy. And here is the Tigers starting lineup. It is presented by Big Boy. It has Jackson at the top, then Dirks and Cabrera. Prince batting cleanup. Delman Young, the DH. Bosch and Wright. Avila will catch. And you've got Peralta and Infante rounding out the Tigers lineup here this evening. Jake Peavy is the starting pitcher for the White Sox, presented by Bill Fox Chevrolet of Rochester.
After a couple of seasons of injuries for Jake Peavy, he has come back and he has logged 175 innings for his club this year.
Jackson looks at a strike.
He also made an all-star team, and Jake is facing the Tigers for the 5th time this year. He said it's all about execution because they know exactly what I throw and I know exactly how I want to pitch.
That'll slice foul back out of play, and the count goes 0-2 on Jackson.
Peavy was scheduled to get the ball a couple of days ago in Baltimore, but Robin Ventura and the pitching coach Don Cooper held him back a couple of days so he could get the nod here tonight against Detroit.
Now the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Jackson goes down, 1 away.
And Tim Hortons is the sponsor of the White Sox defensive alignment this season. They got Wise in center. Rios, he's in right. They got Viciedo in left field. He's got power. He can also throw from left field. Euclid, Ramirez, Beckham, and Adam Dunn in the infield. And A.J. Przinsky is the catcher tonight.
Here's Andy Dirks batting in the 2 slot, enjoying a 5-game hitting streak in which he's batting over 400. Trying to get something started here against Peavy. Well, the questions we had concerning the White Sox: number 1, Chris Sale, throwing a lot of innings, and number 2, Jake Peavy hasn't thrown over 200 since the 2007 season. He's on pace to do that this year. And coming off a major surgery a couple of years ago, but so far he's held up. Let's see what September brings. 31 years old, Jake Peavy. Here's the 2-0. Lifted back out of play. 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, if the Tigers combine for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow and get a free small order of curly fries. Here is Peavy's 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. 2-2.
There was a time when Jake Peavy was pitching for the San Diego Padres. He was one of the best pitchers in the game. He won a Cy Young when he was pitching in San Diego, won the ERA title, strikeout title, made several all-star teams as well in the National League.
He's gone to 3-2. Out of Mobile, Alabama, Jake Peavy. Cabrera waiting on deck. Here's the 3-2. And he walked him. Tigers get their first base runner, a 1-out walk to Dirks. Robin Ventura doing a fabulous job in his first season as the skipper of the White Sox. Taking over for Hazy Guillen.
He'll get some consideration for manager of the year, won't he?
Oh, absolutely. I would think so. And there are a couple of other guys certainly that'll be in the mix.
Buck Showalter would be one of those. Bob Melvin.
Those are the other 2 I'm thinking about. Cabrera batting .325. Sends it high in the air, deep into left field, way back, and the Tigers have the lead. A 2-run homer for Miguel Cabrera.
He doesn't have to run hard on that one.
That's his 33rd of the year, and a quick strike by the Tigers.
And he really has not had a whole lot of success in his career against Jake Peavy. Really none at all. But he gets his team on the board first. It looked like a little breaking ball that didn't do a whole lot. It was right around the belt buckle. A lot of times when Cabrera's in the batter's box, these pitches do not make it to the catcher's glove.
Boy, nothing beats a 2-run homer in the first inning to get the crowd into the game.
He killed that.
Get your club settled in. Here's Prince. He looks at a ball low. Way beyond the bullpens into the seats in left. The second home run that Cabrera has hit in his career against Peavy. There's a strike called on Prince. 1-1.
Most of Miguel's home runs go to center field, right center, and occasionally down that right field line. When he does get out in front of a breaking ball, he does touch one off to the left occasionally, and he hits it a long way when he does that.
That's in for a strike. Fifteen to left, 11 to center, 7 to right. Here's the 1-2 to Prince. Back out of play. 1-2 the count stays. Fielder has hit safely in his last 5. He is 10 for 19 in that 5-game stretch. Had a nice series against the Kansas City Royals. A series in which the Tigers didn't do a whole lot offensively in the last 2 games. Little pop up back a short. Ramirez not going to get it. Base hit. Three straight Tigers have reached.
That's a breaking ball at the bottom of the zone, and it looked like a ball, but somehow Prince able to go down and pick it right off the dirt and get himself a knock.
Here's Delman Young. Delman has also hit safely in his last 5. And Peavy misses outside 1-0. Peavy coming into this game has thrown 175 innings. It's a wave and a miss.
Yeah, last couple of years he hadn't pitched all that much because of injuries.
And he is projected to throw 218 based on the pace that he has established at this point. Ball inside, 2-1. Delman 2 out of 8 against Peavy in his career, and one of those 2 hits, a home run. Cabrera has homered already to make it 2-0. Checked it a little bit outside. 3-1 on Young. Peavy thought that was a strike. Still shaking his head. Bosch waiting on deck. And the 3-1 swing and a miss. And he walked him. It's another walk in this inning. Second. Well, the Bernstein Advantage brings you the scouting report on Jake Peavy. Get the Bernstein Advantage. We go to bat for you. You see the numbers that Rod alluded to a little bit earlier in his days with San Diego. When he came to the White Sox, not nearly as good as the season he's put together this year.
A lot of injuries, but he is healthy this year, and he's performing.
Now he's got to deal with a couple of runners on after the 2-run homer by Miguel Cabrera. Brennan Bosch has not had a lot of success against Peavy, just 3 for 16 against him, but he can deliver a big hit here to bust it open early. .245 average for Bosch. He's got Fielder at second and Young at first. White Sox had an opportunity in the top of this inning. They left a couple stranded. Bosch lines it to right field, base hit. Prince coming to third. They're going to stop him there as Rios hustles it back in. The bases are loaded.
It's a wise decision by Gene Lamont. It's a changeup that's up in the zone that's absolutely scorched to the pull field by Brennan Bosch. And Rios out in right field has a good throwing arm. Therefore, with Prince running from second base, no need in forcing the issue if you're the third base coach, Gene Lamont.
Still only 1 out of the inning, and 5 straight Tigers have reached since the strikeout of Jackson to start the frame. It's going to bring up Avila, the 7th hitter for the Tigers. Fielder Young and Bosch aboard here with only 1 out. Pierzynski now calling time. He was shouting something at Peavy, who couldn't hear it. Well, Chicago leads the major leagues, hitting .291 with men in scoring position. Tigers are second in Major League Baseball.
Not bad.
Well, you have a series like you just had in Kansas City, and you wonder if they would ever get a hit with men in scoring position, but there are the numbers. So now Avila. Still 2-0 Detroit, and Peavy will throw from the windup. And he floats one in for a strike. Alex batting .250. Fielder and Young and Bosch, your base runners. Here's the 0-1. Bouncing ball hit to the right side. This might be 2, 4, 6, 3. And a double play ends the inning. So the Tigers will settle for a 2 spot as Peavy pitches out of some major trouble. Cabrera goes kaboom again. And the Tigers lead 2-0. On Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Strength and stability since 1849. Ram now get a great deal on a new Ram truck at the Ram Summer Clearance event going on right now. And by Mission, eat interesting. Back here at the ballpark on a warm evening here in the Motor City. Big 3-game set against the White Sox. Tigers strike first on the 2-run homer by Miguel Cabrera. A.J. Pierzynski will lead it off for Chicago as we go to the second, and Fister delivers a strike. Pierzynski, Viciedo, and Ramirez. Fister gave up a single and a walk in the first, but no damage. It's been a heck of a year for Pierzynski. 23 home runs. And he fouls it straight back, 0-2. AJ's knocked in 70 as well. Cabrera's 2-run shot has given the Tigers the early lead in this one. Here's the 0-2. Tapped slowly and foul. Pierzynski is battling it a bit right now, even though he's had himself a terrific season. He is 0 for his last 17. Ball missing inside, 1-2 to count.
AJ Pierzynski was out early today taking some batting practice at about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Paul Konerko, who is the designated hitter tonight, he was also taking some extra BP. There were a few other guys hitting as well.
High drive into right field. Bosch is going back to the track, to the wall, and AJ Pierzynski has hit another one out.
His early BP paid off.
Apparently so. Pierzynski hits number 24. That's his 71st RBI as well.
I was watching Jeff Manto, their hitting coach, while Pierzynski was taking extra BP today, and he was telling him to keep his front shoulder in there. Apparently he'd been pulling that front shoulder off prematurely, but he kept it on there that time, and he was able to go down and get a pretty good pitch and golf it out of here. That's a pretty good approach there by AJ. Real good balance as well.
Viciedo looks at a strike right at the belt, 0-1. So that's a way to snap an 0 for 17. It's his first homer since August 12th. Number 24 for Pierzynski. Bender slides in for a strike, and it's 0-2 on Dayan Viciedo.
It's fascinating how some guys can come out and take 1 day of extra BP and then make the adjustments that your hitting coach is kind of asking you to make. And Pierzynski did there, and that at bat against Doug Fister.
The results were immediate. Here's the 1-2. Bouncing ball right side of the infield. Infante will throw him out. Viciedo is retired, 1 gone.
That's exactly where you have to pitch Viciedo. He has 19 home runs. He is big and strong and physical. You've got to tie him up, and that's exactly what Doug did.
Here's Alexei Ramirez, who is batting .271. Well, the White Sox lead the majors in home runs in the month of August with 45. September is here tomorrow. Ball 1 down low, and the Tigers, of course, will announce their September call-ups. They did announce earlier today that Avisail Garcia is up from the minor leagues. He'll join the club tomorrow. A soft line drive hit to the second baseman. Infante hauls that one in, 2 gone. By the way, this game is available tonight in high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD, sponsored by Xfinity from Comcast.
David Nabrowski, the president and also the general manager of the Detroit Tigers, also told us that Al Albuquerque will be activated on Sunday. So the reports on Albuquerque down in the minor leagues were outstanding, according to Jim Leland.
Beckham hits a ground ball foul. Can you imagine if Albuquerque can return to last year's form? What a combo he would make with Villarreal.
No doubt. Very early in the game, 6th inning, you got a couple of fireballs that can throw the ball right by you.
High and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. Fister has allowed the home run to Pierzynski as the White Sox have gotten 1 back. 2-1 ball game. Here's the 1-1. And that one hit him. Beckham hit by the pitch. And the question is, where to get him in the hand? Apparently.
Ouch. Herm Schneider, a longtime trainer of the Chicago White Sox, out tending to Gordon Beckham.
I'm amazed that guys can get hit square in the hand like that and not have it broken. I know A-Rod had his broken earlier this year. So that'll put the runner aboard. Here's that move we were talking about. Javisael Garcia called up from Erie. Jeff Baker was designated for assignment to make room today. So we'll see Garcia. He's going to be in the lineup tomorrow.
Jim Leland said a couple of years ago, out of all the players in the minor league system, he felt like Garcia had the best skill set. And he says he can do everything.
They didn't know if he'd make it in time for the ball game tonight. There he is. He will play tomorrow. The reason they called him up tonight is that he would be eligible for a postseason roster if indeed the Tigers get there.
Well, you want to see what you got for sure. And Baker, he just wasn't working out for the Tigers. Only 15 games for Jeff Baker, but he just didn't really perform all that well.
Tom Brookins right now getting him acclimated.
And you got to believe that Ryan Rayburn will get called up again as well. So he'll basically take that Baker spot initially.
Ball high to Wise, 2-1. The way the rules are written, you have to have a player on your roster prior to September 1st if you want him eligible for the postseason.
Tom Brookins is back. He missed the last couple of days in Kansas City.
Popped him up. Third base side, Cabrera in foul ground, and that is that for Chicago. But the White Sox get run back in the Pierzynski home run, and you're watching Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire.
Back to May 4th. And Johnny Peralta in that batter's box against Matt Thornton, the hard-throwing left-hander out of that White Sox bullpen, and hit a walk-off home run.
Johnny shoots the first pitch into right field on a line and caught by Rios. He's retired. One away here in the second. Well, here's what is facing the Tigers coming into this series. They sweep and they're even up with Chicago. Keep in mind they have 4 more left in Chicago in September. The White Sox, a 3-game lead on the Tigers coming in.
White Sox lost 3 of 4 games in their series just completed in Baltimore and gained a half a game in the standings.
Here's Infante. When you look at that Kansas City series, the Tigers easily could have won all 3 of them.
No question.
And they had a couple of great plays in the 9th inning on diving catches. A Delman home run was really foul. That just missed being a home run.
And they could have very easily won that first game when Verlander was on the mound.
Oh, what happened to Adam Dunn? He just gave away an out. Wow. That would fall under the not good category.
And they're very lackadaisical, right on the heel of the glove.
And the ground ball, third base side, charging. Euclid throws him out, so no damage was done. Just embarrassment for Dunn. That's about it. 2 gone.
They charge him with an air.
Oh, I'm sure they did. Yep, they have. Well, I guess I'm not sure of anything anymore, but they never changed that play on Cabrera, did they?
Well, they will later.
I'm going to have to change in my score sheet. There's a strike called on Jackson.
Austin Jackson had a real nice series in Kansas City. Spraying the ball all around the ballpark, making every play defensively. But he's pretty much been doing that all season long.
Driven to right center field. That's going to get down. Base hit, maybe more. It's going to split the gap and go to the wall. Here comes Jackson to third. He's in with a triple. League high 9th of the year for Jackson.
Jake Peavy has left a lot of balls up in the strike zone today, and when he has, the Tigers have punished him. Once this ball hits the grass and it rolls by Wise, there's no stopping Jackson from getting a triple. And let's just watch him run. Very smooth, cutting the corners of the bases.
Pretty much textbook right there, isn't it?
Oh, no question.
30th career triple and his 9th this year. Dirks takes one down low.
Jackson has got to be one of the top 2-3 candidates this year for comeback player of the year in the American League.
Well, I think obviously Dunn's going to win that.
Even with his batting average, he's going to strike out 200 times.
I guess, but he is leading the league in homers, and he's probably going to knock in 100 runs. But you're right. I mean, you make a pretty good point. He's hitting 204. There's a drive to center. Wise on the run. Still going back. He can't get it. It's over his head. Up against the wall. Dirks will pull in with a double, and the Tigers get another run. Three to 1 Detroit.
Andy Dirks takes the exact same swing. It doesn't really matter what the count is. He's very short. He's very quick and compact to the ball. And Wise had been center field, playing him very shallow, and got burned there.
Tigers have their 5th hit of the game.
Jake Peavy made the comment yesterday that there would be no secrets going up against the Tigers today. And because this is the 5th time that he's faced him, they know exactly what he features. But he said one of the things that he had to do was execute. And he has not executed. He's left a lot of balls up in the zone, and he's fallen behind quite a few of the hitters as well.
Well, Cabrera's gotten him for the 2-run homer. Dirks has doubled one in. Down the right field line, back out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. It could have been a huge first inning, but Peavy was able to get the bases loaded double play ball off the bat of Alex Avila, limiting the damage. And he threads the needle on the outside corner, 1 and 2. Peavy typically does not get a whole lot of run support. In fact, in his last 15 starts, he has an ERA of 3.10, but he's lost 8 of them. And he's given up 3 runs already here tonight. Six thrown by Peavy, 24 of which are strikes to this point. And the 1-2. Good luck by Pierzynski. 2 balls, 2 strikes. There's Fielder waiting on deck. And the 2-2. Outside, 3-2. White Sox got a run back on the home run by Pierzynski here in the second, but the Tigers have come right back. A 2-out triple by Jackson, a double by Dirks. 3-2 pitch. Foul away. Look at these numbers for Cabrera. Wow. 2 outs, runners in scoring position. He's at 462. The league average on that, I wonder what that is, because Cabrera's got to be way above that.
The league average is probably about 250. If that.
In the air, center field, right at Wayne Wise, and that is that for Detroit. However, they get another run. A couple of extra base hits. Dirks drives one in. The Tigers, their third run of the game. It's now a 3-1 ball game as we go to the top of the third inning, and it'll be Kevin Youkilis for the White Sox. Jake Peavy has thrown 40 pitches through the first 2 frames. Talking to Don Cooper on their bench. Ball 1 to Youkilis. Reaching on an error by Cabrera in the first. Now the 1-0. And it's in for a strike. 1-1 on Youkilis.
Seemed like Kevin Youkilis got out of the Boston area at the right time.
Oh boy, did he!
Because they have traded a lot of really good pieces since he was traded. Now Adrian Gonzalez, Carl Crawford, Josh Beckett. I guess you could say they cleaned house.
Pretty much. I mean, who's left? You got Ellsbury left. And Boston at 62 and 70, 14 games back. Yankees holding on to the lead over Baltimore. Tampa 4.5 out.
Baltimore and the Yankees start a series in New York tonight. It's a big series for Baltimore. They haven't played meaningful games this late in a long time.
Adam Dunn waiting on deck. And the 2-2. Checked it. They want the appeal. They didn't go.
Doug Fister's got a lot of run on his fastball tonight. He throws right over the top. And a lot of those sinker balls are running in and really crowding a lot of these right-handed batters. He's not necessarily trying to do it, but it's just kind of happening naturally.
Fister gave up a couple of base runners in the first. He gave up a home run to Pierzynski in the second. Here's the 3-2. Popped him up, heading back to the seats though. First of 3 this weekend between two teams separated by 3 games. Here are those splits for Euclid with Boston and Chicago. 12 of the 16 homers he's hit this year with the Chicago White Sox. And he walked it. Fister just missed. Leadoff man is on. Well, we had a special first pitch in today's ball game. You might recognize this face. Thomas the Hitman Hearns. He threw out the first pitch here at Comerica Park. Began his career in 1977.
That's when boxing was boxing back in those days.
You said it.
Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, Marvin Hagler.
Shot in the air to right field, sinking, going to drop, base hit. Euclid will hit the bag at second. He'll go to third, and here come the White Sox now. A walk and a single.
Not a bad pitch there by Fister to Adam Dunn. It's a fastball that runs in on his hands. Dunn, a big, strong, physical guy, sneaks it in there between Bosch and also Jackson.
So the tying runs are on now for Chicago. And they've got their number 4 hitter up there, Paul Konerko.
Well, you know they're not going to go quietly. The Chicago White Sox are the only team in the AL Central with a winning record on the road. So they're going to battle here tonight.
And a ground ball to short, deep in the hole. Peralta backhands to second one. Relay, unable to dig it out. It gets by fielder. The run will score.
That's too bad because that's a double play. And with Konerko running down the line, Johnny Peralta, he ranged to his right about 4, 5, 6 steps. He grabbed it and he gave Infante a really nice feed. And Infante, he must have thought that Dunn was going to disrupt his timing. Therefore, he threw it right down into the ground, and Prince couldn't help him out. Really nice feed by Peralta, though.
So what appeared to be a tailor-made double play turns into a run for Chicago. 3-2. Rios the batter. Rios hit a ground ball his first time up. He's 0 for 1. 302 batting average this year. And this was after Rios hit just 227 last season. Grounded foul. Talking about comeback candidates, this guy is as well. RBI numbers way up. Home run numbers up. Average way up. Here's the 2-1. High, 3-1. Rolled toward third base. Cabrera has it there. His throw to second is in time for the force. By the way, now time for the Ace Hardware Scott's fan poll question of the game. Here it is. Well, we had Tommy Hearns throw out the first pitch. Therefore, we have our boxing-themed question tonight. Which of these 4 Tigers would make the best boxer? Is it A, Miguel Cabrera? Of course, he'd be in the heavyweight division. So would Prince Fielder. He's B. Doug Fister's got to be on there because his last name starts with Fist. And then Andy Dirks. He just looks like a boxer.
I was wondering why Fister had made that list, because usually you don't see guys that are 6'8" that are boxers.
Yeah, typically not, but
yeah, I was trying to figure it out.
He's got a good reach, but
you can push him over. You can push him over.
Fister's got to be on the list, though. 1 ball and no strikes on Pierzynski. And the ground ball hit to the right side. Nice play by Infante. AJ is out of there. That'll end the inning. 1 run on 1 hit. 1 man left. Scouting reports, and it's on Prince Fielder against Jake Peavy in his career, and these numbers are awfully gaudy.
4 doubles, a .357 batting average, and also he's driven in a couple against Peavy. Most of that coming when both were over in the senior circuit.
Those numbers including his single against Peavy back in the first inning. And Jake Peavy back to work now, and he throws a strike 0-1.
Prince had 3 hits yesterday. Double, couple of singles in that final game in Kansas City.
Gearing up, it appears, for a big September. There's a bouncing ball right side. Beckham on the backhand. Off balance throw. And Fielder is out of there.
They're pretty good up the middle. And with Ramirez at shortstop and Beckham at second, they don't miss a whole lot. And Beckham was a shortstop in college, so he's got quite a bit of range at second base, and Alexi's got a terrific throwing arm.
You were talking about this on Tigers Live pregame. Is there a double play combination in your mind that has better range than these two?
Nope, I don't think there's a combination. There may be some players that play those positions on one particular team that might be better, but when you add the two together, I think they're the best.
Yeah, pretty good. Delman Young, the batter. Here's the 1-0. Delman takes outside.
The thing about Beckham, if you watch him take ground balls before the game starts, he's working on plays like that ball that Prince just hit. And also balls that are hit to his right.
Here's Ramirez trying to show off that range. He couldn't quite get to that one. So 1 out base hit for Delman Young. And back to the studio we go now. Time for a game break with Shannon Hogan. All right, Shannon, thank you. Well, here the Tigers are leading Chicago 3-2. As we play in the third, a single by Young brings up Brennan Bosch. Big series for those Orioles in New York, and they're off to a good start. Ball low to Brennan. Bosch had a single back in the first inning, a sharp single to right field. Here's the 1-0. Bouncing ball hit to the right side. Beckham. Long throw to second for one, and the relay not in time. That's a whale of a play by Gordon Beckham.
Well, we've already talked about their range. And he got Prince Fielder by going to his right about 5 steps and getting him out. And take a look at the range that he displays on this play. He goes to his left, and then he stops on the dime and gives Alexi a real nice feed at shortstop. And look at the arm strength of Ramirez. He threw that ball flat-footed, and he almost turned it over, and Bosch can run.
That turned out to be a whole lot closer than I thought it was going to be as well. Ramirez showing off that gun. Here's Avila bouncing into a double play his first time up, 0 for 1. And he pops it up. Shallow left field. Ramirez goes to the grass. And is called off now by Viciedo on the side retired. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. We go to the 4th. Never finished first and second in the division in the same season since realignment before the 1998 season. So these two are headed on that kind of path right now, with Chicago leading by 3 games. A long way to go, though. Fisker back to work in a 3-2 ball game here tonight.
Nice bender there to Viciedo. That first pitch strike. Ultimately, you want to get him out by crowding him inside, though. There you go.
Shattered his bat. Peralta, nice play. The throw not in time.
He made the pitch that he wanted to make, and it's the second consecutive at bat that he has broken the bat of Viciedo. But Johnny Peralta had to range too far to his left and couldn't recover to get the out at first base. Just couldn't gather himself to get enough on the throw.
Leadoff man is on here in the 4th inning. We'll bring up Ramirez. Fouled it back out of play. Ramirez has knocked in 10 in his last 10 games, and for the most part this season, it's been a clutch hitter for them. 2 out men in scoring position. He is at 354. He's come up with some big knocks for Chicago over the course of this year. Fisker gave up 1 in the second, 1 more in the third. Tigers lead 3-2. Here's the 0-1. Popped up foul, and that'll make it 0-2 on Ramirez.
Cuban missile, they call it.
Well, he prior to this year had shown a lot more power. But this year only 8 home runs for Ramirez. Swinging a tip, just got a piece of it. 0-2 the count stays. There are the home run numbers his last 3 years. He hit 18 in 2010.
Looks like he's going to drive in more than 70 this year.
Fisker has had a few base runners every single inning so far. And he missed inside with that one, 1-2. Tigers took the lead early on the 2-run homer by Miguel Cabrera in the first. The teams exchanged runs in the second, and the White Sox scored 1 in the third. Bouncing ball left side. Cabrera can't get it. Peralta can, but he has no play, and the first 2 White Sox are on. That'll bring up Gordon Beckham. Maybe up here in a bunting situation. We'll see.
He has 5 sacrifice bunts. He leads their club in that category.
Beckham was hit by a pitch on the hand back in the second.
And you would think that a couple of these guys would attempt to bunt for base hits here tonight, or even sacrifice, with Cabrera being a little bit gimpy down at third base, not moving as well right now as he has all year.
And Beckham lets it go by for strike 1.
And it appears that because Doug Fister is such a good fielder, that Cabrera didn't even come in to try to field that play had he bunted the ball down toward third base, which is where he's probably tried to bunt it. Fister covers a lot of ground. He'll probably cover that area for for cabbie.
Leland was talking about this very play the other day, saying they do have a sign to let Miguel know to stay back and let Fister cover anything down the third base line, and it certainly looks like that's going to be the case because he hadn't moved.
Super Joe McEwen, third base coach of the Chicago White Sox, his first year in that capacity under Robin Ventura, their first year manager.
Here's the 1-1 way outside. Two and 1 on Gordon Beckham.
Prince better be careful.
He's getting awfully close.
Just in case Beckham decides to swing the bat.
Pops up the bunt. It's going to drop in front of Cabrera. It's a fair ball, and everybody is safe. Bases are loaded for Chicago.
Spun it in the air, and it looks like it may be a pop-up here, but Miguel can't get in, can't make the play. And then it comes in to field it and can't do that either.
So the bases are loaded here, and the ball hasn't left the infield yet this inning. Dwayne Wise will step in with nobody out. ruling that a sacrifice E5. Oh, and 1 on Wise. He's 0 for 2. Fly ball and a pop up. Inside, almost hit it. So far this year, 375 for Dwayne Wise with men in scoring position. Here's the 1-1. It hit him, and that'll force in a run. That'll tie the game up at 3. Wise had to spin out of the way in the previous pitch, and that one got him on the back.
And nowhere for Dwayne to go.
And Jeff Jones making his way out to the mound. An RBI for Wise.
And Doug Fister has not been as sharp here today as he was before missing one time through the rotation. He's thrown 69 total pitches. 29 of those have missed the strike zone. Hey fans, college football comes to Fox each week. Aaron Andrews, Eddie George, and Joey Harrington will get you ready for kickoff. Then Heisman Trophy frontrunner Matt Barkley and #1 ranked USC take their first step on the road to a national championship as they take on Hawaii. The premiere of college football Saturday is September 1st at 7 p.m. only on Fox.
So we're all tied up now, and here is Euclid with the bases loaded, nobody out. Euclid on base twice, and Arrow walking. He has scored a run.
And you wonder if the right groin injury that kept Fister from making his last start is causing him not to be able to get on top of his pitches today. That is his push-off leg.
Ooh, it looked like that would have been close, but they say he didn't go around 2-0. Well, he hasn't looked, as you say, as sharp, even in the very first inning when he came out. Here's the 2-0. Line drive to third, and everybody is able to get back.
Good base running by the Chicago White Sox.
Especially Ramirez at third. He immediately broke back for the bag.
Ball hit that sharply on the line. Usually you can double somebody up, but they were all headed back to their respective bases when that ball landed in Miggy's glove.
So that's a big out there. The first out of the inning, and now Dunn stands in. A single and a walk. And it's in for strike one. Dunn came in 3 for his previous 21. Here's the 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. .75 now for Fister. Outside again, 2 balls and 1 strike on Dunn. He's had 12 grand slams in his career, including 1 this season. Triple split. 3 base runners for the White Sox. And a foul back out of play. 2-2 the count. Three runs, 4 hits, Chicago. 3 runs, 6 hits for the Tigers. Jake Peavy now has watched his team even this thing up to try to take the lead. Peavy gave up the 2-run homer to Cabrera in the first inning, staking the Tigers to an advantage. Swing and a miss. Dunn is out of there. 2 gone. Well, Fister continues to pitch through this jam. One more out to get.
Good pitch here by Doug Fister. 77 miles per hour with the breaking ball. He took a lot off of it and had a big break to it, and Dunn was fooled and out in front and couldn't make contact with it.
So here is Konerko now with the bases loaded, 2 outs. Way inside, 1-0. Konerko in this game with an RBI. Fielder's choice ground ball, scored a run in the 3rd. And that's it for a strike. 1-1 at Konerko. Six-time All-Star Paul Konerko. Played in the Midsummer Classic again this year. And he's looking to give his team their first lead tonight. Missed it high. 2-1. Getting word on Jeff Baker, who was designated for assignment after Avisail Garcia was called up from Toledo, or from Erie rather. Baker has been traded to the Braves, we understand.
It didn't take long.
Not at all. Bouncer to short. Peralta, nice play. Throw to second. He is out at second base. It took a while. Infante held out of the baseball, though, and Adrian Johnson finally made the call. Fister pitching out of a big-time jam as the White Sox leave him loaded, but they get a run to tie it up.
Game summary here. Miguel Cabrera with one man on in the very first inning, connected for a 2-run shot to get the Tigers on the board first, but it didn't take the White Sox very long to counter. A.J. Przinsky having some kind of year, hit his 24th home run of the season in the 2nd inning.
Well, it could have been a whole lot worse, but the Tigers give up just the 1 run. As a result, it is a 3-3 game. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning, and Johnny leads it off against Jake Peavy. He's swinging a drive in the air to left field, way back, and we are tied no longer. Oh, he got a hold of that one, and Peralta hits a bomb to left. Four to 3 Detroit.
And Johnny Peralta connected on a 91-mile-per-hour fastball that's up in the zone. And Peavy has had a difficult time of getting the ball down. And every time he's been around that belt buckle in the strike zone, the Tigers have hit the ball extremely hard.
There's a strike called on Omar Infante. Number 11 for Peralta, second home run of the night for the Tigers. And it's back up to a 1-run lead for Detroit, 4-3. It's a bouncer back to the mound. Peavy able to smother. Omar is out of there, one gone.
And one more look at the home run off the bat of Johnny Peralta.
Johnny hit one in KC, and he has hit one here tonight. Top of the order now. Austin Jackson will stand in. That makes it 4 runs on 7 hits for the Tigers. In there for a strike, 0-1. Jackson was able to get it started with 2 outs, nobody on in the second when he tripled to right center field, his 9th of the year, which leads the American League. Here's the 1-1. In for a strike. 1-2 on Jackson. Foul away. How about the Jimmy John's leaderboard here tonight? The highest batting average within division this year. Matt Kemp hitting .378 against the National League West. Prince against the Central at .367. AJ on that list as well. Bouncing ball to short. Routine there for Ramirez. And Jackson is out. 2 gone here in the 4th inning. Bring up Andy Dirks. Well, if the first 4 innings of this game are any indication on what the rest of the season series is going to be like, this ought to be interesting.
No doubt. It's good to see the Tigers offensively, though, perk up from what they did the last couple of days in Kansas City. They didn't give themselves much of a chance there in those last 2 days at Kauffman Stadium.
Strike 1 to Dirks. Well, they certainly have been a different team at home this year. There's no doubt about that. 39-26 within Comerica Park. 30-35 on the road. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Dirks is out as they complete the strikeout. And the inning is over. However, the Tigers go back on top. Johnny Peralta with a home run. 4-3. brought to you by Arby's. Play Arby's new Snap and Rock promotion. Snap a picture of your cut, send, and win. And by AT the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Back here in the Motor City on a nice night for baseball. Nice night to start this big 3-game series. Tigers have the lead right now, 4-3. On our way to the 5th inning, 4 runs, 7 hits for Detroit. And for the White Sox, 3 runs, 4 hits. White Sox have to be kicking themselves a bit here early in this game. They've stranded 7 runners. Rios looks at a strike on the inside part of the plate. Quickly 0-2. Rios, Pierzynski, and Viciedo facing Doug Fister. Fister did a really nice job back in the 4th inning after hitting Wise with the bases loaded and nobody out. He got 3 consecutive outs with no more runs scored. Little chopper hit to second, and Infante waits on the hop. In the dirt, but it's scooped by Prince. One gone. He's going to bring up Pierzynski. Here's Pierzynski. He's already homered in this game. Solo shot led things off in the 2nd. His 24th of the year. And that snapped it over 17. Pierzynski had never hit as many as 20 home runs prior to this season. His previous high was 18. Here's the 0-2. Got him. Strike 3. Pierzynski is out of there. Not before he has a brief chat with Lance Barksdale.
Looked like a good pitch. Pierzynski gave up on the 2-seam fastball, and it appeared to catch the inside corner at 90 miles an hour.
2 up, 2 down. Here's Dayan Viciedo. Ball 1.
I don't think Doug Fister throws anything that's straight.
No.
Everything that he throws that comes out of his hand has got some really good movement to it today.
2-0 the count. Got to be careful with Viciedo. He's got power. 19 home runs this year. Earlier in the month of August, had an 11-game hitting streak. Inside, 3-0.
You don't want to throw one right down the middle. Robinson Ventura might just give Viciedo the green light here to swing if he chooses to do so on a fastball.
And he'll take his walk. 2 out base on balls for Chicago.
Every game counts. The Tigers host the White Sox this Sunday at 8:05. All kids 14 and under receive a back-to-school supply case. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com.
Here is Alexei Ramirez now with 2 outs. Breaking ball bends low and away.
You've got to love some of these kids' giveaways if you're a parent in the month of September.
Yeah, pretty good.
Save you a little money. Backpacks, school supplies, lunch boxes.
That's it for a strike. 1-1. Fister now has thrown 95 pitches in this game. And really, for as uncomfortable as he has looked at times tonight, he has given up just 4 hits, 2 of them infield hits.
Well, the fact that he's thrown 95 pitches gives you a pretty good idea he does not have good command today.
Two balls, 1 strike on Ramirez. He had one of those infield hits back in the 4th. And he sends a ground ball foul.
We've seen Doug Fister on occasion when he does have good control. He'll throw 97 pitches and he'll be in the 8th or 9th inning.
Not so tonight, yet he leads 4-3. Look out. Down goes Ramirez. He hits the deck.
He thought he was hit.
Three and two.
It was close too.
Oh, it was. But as you say, he is a slender fellow. So he was able to wiggle out of the way. Here's the 3-2. Runner goes, and it's ball 4 inside. So that'll put 2 aboard. Back-to-back walks here with 2 outs. And it keeps the door open now for Chicago as Gordon Beckham stands in. Four walks in the game now for Doug.
And a hit batter.
Beckham was the hit batter back in the 2nd, and here he is in the 5th.
2 hit batters. Wise was hit too.
Yeah, Wise came with the bases loaded. Fisker got 2 quick outs. Rios on a grounder. He struck out Pierzynski, and now Smiley is up again for the 2nd time in this game. That's lifted in the air to center. Jackson is under it, and that is it for Chicago. They'll strand 2 more. Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tire.
On July 22nd, a very memorable day for Miguel Cabrera. He homered in the game, and then he hit another home run in the game to straightaway center field. And that was a milestone for Miguel, number 300 in his major league career.
Well, Cabrera did some damage early in this game. Back in the 1st inning, a 2-run shot off Jake Peavy. It's 4-3. Tigers have the lead. We play in the bottom of the 5th here in game 1 in the series. Cabrera, fielder Young in the Tigers' 5th inning. Way outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. White Sox tonight have stranded 9 already in this game, and we're only in the bottom of the 5th. They have had some huge chances. Checked it. The appeal. He did not go. Cabrera nods his approval.
Good call by Fielding Colberth, who is the first base umpire today.
Cabrera. The 2-1. Driven down the left field line. Fair ball. It'll go to the corner. Miguel on his way to second, and he will pull in with a double. Leadoff 2-base hit by the big fella.
Miguel, when he came into play today, his numbers were not very good in the career versus Jake Peavy, but he's already homered once, and then he takes another breaking ball and hits the ball down that left field line and gets himself a double.
Couple of extra base hits for Miguel tonight. A double to go with his homer. And now the Tigers try and build on their lead. Here is Prince Fielder.
The Tigers had a difficult time in this particular situation the last couple of days in Kansas City, runner on second with nobody out. And they weren't able to score that base runner.
It was almost maddening how many times the Tigers had opportunities in that KC series. They just, for whatever reason, couldn't get it done. And back home here, they've done a much better job.
Yes, they're swinging the bats much better here tonight. .315 batting average for Prince Fielder so far this year. He's never hit 300 in the major league season.
Skies one in the air to center. Wise cruising over, and out is Fielder. Cabby trying to move up. Here's the throw to third. He is safe.
Outstanding hustle. Wow.
Miguel Cabrera. Bad ankle and all.
Dwayne Wise in center field has a decent arm, but he did not think Cabrera was going to tag up here, so he caught that ball flat-footed, and he really took his time getting rid of it, and because of that, it allowed Miguel Cabrera to get to third base.
I'm going to be honest, I'm surprised he went too. Great base running play.
That's the beauty of the game. Dwayne Wise in center field had plenty of time to get behind that baseball and get himself ready to throw, but he did not do so, and now they have to play the infield at a halfway depth with Delman Young standing in the batter's box.
Swing and a miss. 1 on Delman.
Doubt very seriously if Cabrera is coming home on contact with the way that he's been running lately, although he did run very hard there to third base and on the double.
Now the 0-1. Delman tonight with a single and a walk. Way outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Jake Peavy got a no decision in his last start after the Sox pen gave up 6 runs. He missed again. Run the count to 3-1. They have supported him tonight with 3 runs, but again they've stranded 9. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Fouled away. Make it 3-2 on Delman.
Delman had a really good pitch to hit right there. Got himself a 3-1 fastball that appeared to be right down the middle.
And he popped him up. Foul ground. Who wants it? Krasinski discards the mask and hauls it in. It's a big out, 2 away with the runner holding at third, and that's going to bring up Brennan Bosch. Don Cooper coming out. Bosch 1 out of 2 tonight. Always thought Cooper's been a somewhat underrated pitcher.
Every pitcher that has pitched for him, either it be a veteran pitcher like a Jake Peavy or some of the younger kids that he now has in his bullpen, or the conversion from Chris Sale into the ace of their staff, they all work very well under Don Cooper.
A couple of quick words for Jake Peavy as they try and strand that runner at third.
A couple of years ago, before the New York Yankees hired their current pitching coach Larry Rothschild, they tried to hire Don Cooper away from the White Sox, but the White Sox would not give the New York Yankees permission to talk to him.
25 seasons in the White Sox organization, 10th as the pitching coach. So here is Bosch. Ball one from Peavy.
There's a lot of loyalty in the Chicago White Sox organization. Harold Baines, their first base coach, has been with that organization a number of years, although he left as a player several times to play in other places. But there's a lot of loyalty in their system.
2-0 the count. Tigers would love to get this run in here. They got a leadoff double from Cabrera. He's standing at third now with 2 outs. And the count goes to 3-0. Brennan in that series back in July was 4 for 9 with 2 home runs. So maybe the series here against Bosch will jumpstart it.
Well, they decided to pitch around Brennan Bosch to get to Avila, which is something that we never witnessed last year. But that visit by Don Cooper was one to tell Peavy, we don't want to give Bosch anything to hit. Let's go after Avila.
Avila has hit into a double play and has flied out. He's 0 for 2. Well, just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. So here's Avila now. First and third with 2 outs, and Alex cuts and misses. Swing and a miss again. The count is 0-2. Tigers and White Sox have met 11 times so far this year. The Tigers have won 7 of those meetings, including 4 straight. They're trying to make it 5 consecutive wins over Chicago and get back to within 2 games of the White Sox in the standings. Peavy missed it outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. White Sox have struggled on the road of late. They've lost 6 of 7. And Peavy will step on. Tigers got 2 in the first, 1 in the second, and 1 in the fourth against Peavy. And the 1-2. Good block by Pierzynski, holding both runners. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
A.J. Pierzynski's already gone down and blocked a number of pitches at the bottom of the zone today to prevent Peavy from throwing wild pitches.
He's gone over 20 now, or at least 20 for 2 innings in this game. Cabrera let it off with a double. He's standing at third now with 2 outs. Bosch at first. And the 2-2. Outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And you've got Johnny Peralta waiting on deck. Crowd starting to get into it now. They've packed the house again tonight.
Bosch will be running on this pitch. Tom Brookins was reminding him, make sure that you don't fall for the fake to third and then come back to first move.
And a bouncing ball to first base. Right at Dunn, he'll tag the bag for the out, and the threat is over. Tigers lead 2. We've played 5.
Lead over the White Sox here going into the top of the 6th. The White Sox manager Robin Ventura had a steady message to his team for the beginning of the season. And that was no one game or one series is bigger than another, prepared equally for each and every one because they count equally in the end. Well, now that we're down to the last 30 games of the year for the Tigers of September, just mere hours away, it's interesting to hear Ventura's take on this big series.
This is fun to be able to play a good team like this that's in your division. You know, both of us going for the division, but you know, realistically, this is not going to make or break the season. So, you know, there's still going to be more games after this. You know, they're important. It's going to be a fun atmosphere, and we're happy to be playing in games like this. That's about it. Other than that, you just go play.
6 more games like this one against the White Sox before the end of the season, Mario, and they are fun. This one going down to the wire tonight. Back up to you.
Well, I agree, Trev. Thanks very much. Right now it's a 1-run game, and we're off to an interesting start in the final 7 between these two. And again, the Tigers coming in 3 behind Chicago in the American League Central. And Robin Ventura has to be ecstatic with where his team is right now. They have surprised some folks. Drew Smiley is the new pitcher for the Tigers as he takes over for Doug Fister in a Wallside Windows pitching change.
All of his work this year has been done as a starter on the Tigers staff. And I was talking to Drew before the game today in the clubhouse and asking him, had he ever pitched in relief before? He said one time in Double-A. He pitched in the bullpen, but by and large, he has been a starter.
1 ball, 1 strike on Dwayne Wise, who starts things off here in the 6th inning. How much of an adjustment is that, do you think? I mean, we tend to think, well, what's the big deal? I mean, you get on the mound, you pitch, but there is a different preparation for it.
He said that it was not much for him. He says he's throwing more since he's been down in the bullpen. He's throwing every single day, but he didn't expect it to be much of a difference from when he had a chance to start. And the one thing that helped him today, and I don't know how it's going to turn out, he got up a couple of times while Fister was going through some issues earlier in the game.
Yeah.
So he got hot like he was a starting pitcher here tonight. Didn't have to rush to get loose.
Here's the 3-1. And it's inside. Leadoff walk for Dwayne Wise. Tying run aboard now for Chicago. 5 base on balls for Tigers pitching tonight. Youkilis has 1 of those, and he has come around to score a run. Otherwise 0 for 2 for Euclid. He hit with the bases loaded back in the 4th and hit a line drive right at Cabrera. And in the end, we may look back at that inning when Fisker hit a batter with the bases loaded to drive in the tying run, but then he got the next 3 hitters, and Chicago had to settle for 1. And he got through another inning before giving way to Smiley here in the 6th.
The Tigers bullpen in real good shape tonight.
Euclid looks at a strike.
Dotel is fresh. Benoit fresh. Valverde as well. Phil Cope did not get used yesterday either.
I like the conversation you and Simo had on Tigers Live pregame concerning the bullpens, and I agree with both of you. I think right now the Tigers have an advantage because of experience in that bullpen, and especially when they get Albuquerque back. If he is anything like he was last year, that is just another piece that Jim Leland will have.
Well, that slider that Albuquerque was featuring last year, he'll be activated on Sunday. It was incredible. And his fastball wasn't too bad. He was throwing 97, 98 on occasion.
Euclid takes 1 ball, 1 strike.
And when you combine he and Villarreal along with Benoit and Dotel, they got quite a few guys down there that can really miss some bats late in the game.
Dotel warming up right now in the Detroit bullpen. 1-1 on Euclid.
Jim always talks about this 6th inning being one of the more difficult innings to manage. It's the bridge inning to get to your late inning relievers. Doesn't appear that Villarreal will be used here today. He pitched 1 2/3 innings last night in Kansas City. So it looks like it's going to be Smiley and then maybe Dotel, depending on the matchups.
And there are some nights, especially in this Tigers rotation, where guys like Verlander and Scherzer make that 6th inning a moot point. They get deep into games, but that bridge inning is always important. Or many times is. There's Octavio warming up. 4-3. Tigers have the lead in this one. Meanwhile, at Yankee Stadium, the Orioles lead the Yanks 4-0. That game is in the bottom of the 7th. As the Orioles continue to make a statement. One ball, 2 strikes. Euclid will step out. After 9 years with the Red Sox, Euclid joining the White Sox earlier this year. Checked it low and away, 2-2. And he's a great example, Brad, of how you can make that one trade sometimes. And I'm not comparing it to the Fisker trade, but we saw what Fisker did for the Tigers. Sometimes a guy like this can really boost your chances.
He's a good player, but he also brings edge to his game, and he's also a nice clubhouse presence, postseason experience.
Another toss back. Euclid's best year with Boston. A couple of years ago, he hit .312 with 29 home runs and drove in 115. Has not approached those numbers since, but still very solid. Can play first, can play third, and play them well. The runner goes, and it's thrown over his head. Throw down to second, not in time. Stolen base for Dwayne Wise. His 12th.
And really nothing that Avila could do there. Wise had a real good jump off of first base, and then the ball is up, and he has to reach for it and then turn the shoulder back to the target. And by the time he does all that, Wise sliding in safely.
Now it's 3-2. 12 out of 13 for Wise. And he popped him up. Shallow right field. Bosch coming in. And Wise will hold. 1 out. AT trivia time tonight, as Adam Dunn gets ready to step in. In 1982, which player led the National League in home runs while hitting .204? And we ask that because Dunn has a good chance of leading the American League in homers this year. He currently is, and he's hitting in the low 200s. Adam Dunn right now at 38. Josh Hamilton 36. Dunn came up at a big spot with the bases loaded early in the game and struck out. And he looks to strike one. Dunn leads the American League in strikeouts. 189 punchouts now with a month to go in the season. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. And the 0-2 pitch. Just a little bit outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Dunn.
Well, if he decides to throw another breaking ball here to Adam Dunn, he must get it away from Dunn. You don't want to hang that breaking ball inside, because if you do, Dunn will hit it a long way to right field.
Well, he's all or nothing against Smiley. 4 strikeouts and a homer in 5 at bats. The 1-2. It gets away from Avila. To the backstop it goes. Wise will move to third. Wild pitch advances the tying run to third base.
Drew just threw that breaking ball a little bit too hard. Dwayne Wise recognized that ball was going to be down in the dirt as soon as he got past Avila. Able to jog over to third base.
Infield coming in now. 2-2. He fouled it straight back. Now with that wild pitch, all Dunn needs is a deep enough fly ball to score the run. On deck, Paul Konerko. Wise led it off with a walk, stole second, standing at third following the wild pitch. Just off the plate. Fill it now, 3-2. Avila held it there, but did not get the call from Lance Barksdale. Fouled away again. To give you an idea of what kind of bounce back season this has been for Dunn, we mentioned the fact that he has 38 home runs this season. Last year was just a terrible season for him. 11 home runs last year, 38 this year. Rios has had a bounce back season as well. And Pierzynski is having the best year of his career in many respects offensively. Another ground ball foul. Well, Smiley has gone to a 3-ball count on all 3 hitters he has faced here in the 6th. This has turned into an 8-pitch at bat. Another foul back out of play. Just showed a shot of Robin Ventura there, Rod. And the amazing thing about this season the White Sox have had is the real difference, the stark contrast in the managers they've had the last 2 years. Ozzie and Robin Ventura.
Well, you don't hear a whole lot about Robin Ventura. You hear more about the Chicago White Sox, whereas when Ozzie Guillen was their manager, we heard a lot about Ozzie. And Ozzie did a lot of talking. Polar opposites.
This will be the 10th pitch coming up, not before Avila makes a trip out to the mound.
It's been a really good at-bat for Adam Dunn. Drew Smyly was able to get ahead of him with 2 strikes very early in this pitch sequence, but Dunn has continued to foul off really good 2-strike pitches from Smyly.
Well, when you talk about Manager of the Year candidates, here are the 3 that we certainly have at the top of our list. Who will end up winning this, we don't know, but Melvin, Showalter, and Ventura are all right there. The A's have won 73 games. Lead the wild card, second lowest payroll in the majors, and they've gotten it done this year with solid pitching. "3-2 is ball 4 after a lengthy battle. It's a walk to Dunn. That'll put him at the corners, and we head back to the studio now for a game break. Here's Shannon Hogan. So Drew Smyly is gone as the Tigers make a pitching change. We'll step aside. 4-3 Tigers. Well, the Tigers go right back to the bullpen. Drew Smyly is out of the game, and Octavio Dotel will take over now for Detroit.
It's been an outstanding season for Dotel. He checks in with a 2.98 ERA, 57 strikeouts in 48 in the third innings logged so far this year against 9 walks. And right-handers hitting 188 against Dotel.
Well, the White Sox have the tying run at third, the go-ahead run at first. Only 1 out here in the 6th inning, and Paul Konerko stands in. Knocked in a run with a fielder's choice ground ball back in the 3rd. Smyly facing 3 batters, 2 of them lefties, and he walked both of them. Konerko sends it high in the air down the left field line. Dirks on the charge. Runner tagging. Dirks makes the catch. They're going to try and score Wise. Here's the throw to the plate. He's safe. Both runners move up. Konerko gets a sac fly and an RBI.
Andy Dirks caught that ball flat-footed, but he threw a clothesline to home plate, and they almost got Wise. Wise has good speed, but Andy Dirks with a very strong throw here.
Minerco's second RBI of the night, 62 for the year. It's now a 4-4 game. Here's Rios. Strike one to Rios. 4 runs, 8 hits for the Tigers. 4 runs, 4 hits for Chicago. Both for 3 for Rios. Put the ball on the ground 3 times. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Dunn was able to tag up as well, moved to second base. And he got him. Strike 3. Rios didn't like it, but it doesn't matter. 1 run for Chicago. They tie it up. They go to the bottom of the 6th. Baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Bell Tire. Get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. And by Toyota, brought to you by your Greater Detroit Toyota dealers. Well, we expected this would be a good series, and so far it's been a good game 1. It's a 4-4 contest. Back and forth we go as we head to the bottom of the 6th. And it'll be Jake Peavy back to the mound, facing Johnny Peralta, Omar Infante, and Austin Jackson. In there for strike 1 against Peralta. Tigers have doubled up the hit totals. The White Sox have stranded 10 in this ball game. Johnny is homered, a solo shot in the 4th. Briefly gave the Tigers a 4-3 lead. Now the 0-2, way outside. The backstop it goes, 1-2.
Top fastball tonight. Thrown by Jake Peavy, 92 miles an hour, 77 with a slow breaking ball.
Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss, and Peralta is out of there. Peavy gets a strikeout. Hasn't had too many tonight. It's his 3rd strikeout.
Good changeup. Good location.
Wave and a miss. Omar Infante is 0 for 2, couple of ground balls. Beebe missing outside. Fisker started for Detroit, departed the scene after 5 innings of work. There's some activity now in the bullpen for Chicago. That's outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. He has surrendered 2 homers tonight, Cabrera and Peralta. And he missed it low, 3-1. Jackson on deck. In the air. In shallow center field, Dwayne Wise. 2 up, 2 down here in the 6th. Now the top of the order, Austin Jackson. Jackson has tripled and scored in this game. He's been a good run producer this year against the White Sox. In 11 games, he's knocked in 10 against Chicago pitching. And apparently they're keeping close contact with the bullpen. The 0-1 is fouled straight back, 0-2. Beebe working quickly. The 0-2 pitch is line foul down the right field line. Jackson just got a piece of that breaking ball to stay alive.
And Jake Peavy throwing a lot of breaking balls in this inning. He struck Peralta out with a good changeup. Threw a few breaking balls to Infante as well, and a couple here to Jackson. Here comes another one.
Right-handers this year, for the most part, have really struggled against Peavy. They're batting just 199 against him.
I'll say that's struggle.
As he approaches 100 for the game. Pitches, that is. When you're sub 200, that's dominating. Jackson waiting on the 0-2. Peavy taking too long. Peavy this year has thrown 4 complete games. Only Verlander and Felix Hernandez have thrown more. Got him, strike 3. Jackson is called out. 1-2-3 inning for Jake Peavy. So we go to the 7th. Still tied.
weekend in the game today. He hit a couple of White Sox batters. He also walked 4 batters in the game before departing. Couldn't really command the fastball or the breaking ball. And we told you that Doug Fister had his last start skipped because he had a right groin strain, and it may have been the issue here today. That's his push-off leg off the mound, and maybe he could not push off today, therefore could not get the ball down in the strike zone.
Well, we remain tied at 4 in this one as we go now to the top of the 7th inning. Octavio Dotel coming back out. He got the final 2 outs of the 6th. And for the White Sox, it'll be A.J. Pierzynski to lead things off. Pierzynski, then Viciedo, and then Ramirez. A.J. hits a ground ball, foul, first base side. He's homered in this game, a solo shot off Fister back in the 2nd, otherwise a grounder and a strikeout. Pierzynski this year is on pace for 29 homers and 87 RBIs. Both would be career highs. Here's the 0-1. Make it 0-2 on Pierzynski.
Pierzynski, when his career is done, might have a future in broadcasting. He did nice work last year. Working the postseason for Fox. And when the regular season was over,
very complimentary of the Tigers.
He liked the Tigers. He saw them a bunch. 18, 19 times.
Here's the 0-2. Driven in the air toward left field and hit well. Dirks is on the run, still going back. Reaches, can't get it. Up against the wall. Pierzynski is on his way to 2nd, and he will stand in with a double. His 2nd extra base hit of the night.
I told you earlier, if you weren't with us, A.J. Pierzynski came out today about 2 o'clock this afternoon with their hitting coach Jeff Mantel and worked on keeping the front shoulder on the baseball. Here's a breaking ball at the top of the zone, and he keeps that front shoulder on the ball, head straight down, and hits an 0-2 pitch over the head of Andy Dirks.
That is only the 5th hit for the White Sox tonight. Dirks almost got to this ball. Just out of his reach.
Pierzynski usually does not show that kind of power the opposite way.
Here's Viciedo. Ball 1. He's had a single tonight and a walk. He's also scored a run. Skies this one in the air to center field and deep. Jackson going back. Still going back. All the way to the base of the wall. Pierzynski will tag up and move up. He hit that ball a ton.
That's a home run at their ballpark.
But not here. So the go-ahead run moves to 3rd. 1 out. And Ramirez will try and score him. Infield single and a walk. Strike 1 on Alexei Ramirez. Look at Chicago 0 for 10.
They came in with the best batting average in the majors, and hitting with runners in scoring position.
Well, they've stranded 10 men on base tonight. I'd like to make it 11. Fouled straight back. Now it's 0-2 on Ramirez.
They've had a lot of chances. Tigers have walked 6, hit 2.
They left the bases loaded back in the 4th inning. Jake Peavy has surrendered 4 runs on 8 hits. A couple of home runs tonight. Way outside. 1-2 on Ramirez. Beckham waiting on deck. Littell coming on in the 6th inning, got 2 outs, but then gave up a leadoff double here in the 7th. Little pop up right side of the infield. They get Ramirez, 2 gone.
Hey fans, don't forget you can join us again tomorrow when the Tigers take on the Chicago White Sox. Coverage begins at 6:30 with Tigers live on Fox Sports Detroit. That's Tigers baseball tomorrow at 6:30 right here on Fox Sports Detroit.
So here is Beckham with 2 outs with Pierzynski still at third. Hit by pitch, sacrifice, fly out. Fouled away 0-1. Beckham came in batting just .233. And in the second half really hadn't produced a whole lot offensively, batting .210 following the All-Star break this year. But defensively has been one of the best, anchoring second base. Trying to get it done with 2 outs. Here's the 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Only a couple of other second basemen in the American League that play a little bit better at that position than Beckham. Robinson Cano would be one, and Dustin Pedroia in Boston would be the other.
Breaking ball to beauty, 1-2. And the 1-2 fouled away. Tigers earlier stranded a leadoff double from Cabrera back in the 5th, and the White Sox trying to avoid doing just that here in the 7th. Pierzynski at third with 2 outs. Ball high, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the 2-2. Driven away, back out of play again, and the count stays even at 2.
Dotel has thrown a total of 19 pitches since coming in relief of Drew Smiley, and the majority of those pitches have been strikes. He has only missed the strike zone with 4 of the 19.
Two and two on Beckham. Fouled off a breaking ball. 2-2. The count remains.
White Sox hitters have not done much with runners in scoring position, but they have grinded out some at bats today.
Trying to get that go-ahead run in. Tigers at one point led 2-0, then 3-1. We're tied at 4 right now. Driven foul down the left field line. Tigers trying to continue their mastery over the White Sox in this ballpark. In the last 18 played by these two teams here in Detroit, the Tigers have won 15. And they've controlled the season series overall this year. Beckham right now has an 8-pitch at bat going. These two teams will meet for 4 games on the next road trip for Detroit in Chicago. Missed it high, run it full now. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Beckham. If he gets that far, Dwayne Wise would be next. He is lurking on deck. And this will be the 10th pitch coming up in this AB. Dotel ready with the 3-2. Here it is. Driven to center field. Here comes Jackson on the move, and that is that for Chicago. No runs, a double is stranded at third. Stretch time at the ballpark. In 1982, which player led the National League in home runs while hitting just .204? You know this one, Ryan?
Kingman?
Yes, Dave Kingman. Good guess.
King Kong.
37 homers with the Mets. And a .204 average. Adam Dunn on that same kind of pace, although he's hit 38. Here come the Tigers now. Let's see if they can break this 4-4 tie. We're in the bottom of the 7th.
I used to love going to Dodger Stadium as a kid and watching Dave Kingman when his clubs would come into town. He hit some of the highest fly balls you could imagine.
Put on a show, huh?
He would.
Well, Adam Dunn has 38 homers. He's hitting .205 right now. Kingman back in 82. Those were his numbers. He also hit 35 and 86 and batted just .210. The all or nothing type players. There's a ball outside Dirks, and the count on Andy now goes to 3-0. 11 stranded for Chicago in this game. That's in for a strike, 3-1. Dirks Cabrera fielder here in the 7th. And Peavy now has hit 100. And he missed with it, ball 4. That's a good start. 4 walks for Peavy. And he's screaming at himself right now. He's a little perturbed. Hey, you can vote for your Tigers McDonald's player of the game. Presented by the Quarter Pounder with Cheese. Using your cell phone, text Tigers followed by a space at the player's uniform number to 37338, or vote online at foxsportsdetroit.com. Here is Cabrera.
Got the MVP chance going here at Comerica Park tonight for the slugger.
And with good reason. A homer and a double in this game. And a ball low.
Both of his hits have come on breaking balls. 2-run homer in the first. And the last time up, he got a hanging breaking ball and hit a seed down the left field line.
He stays away. Now it's 2-0. Slowly digging a hole here in the 7th inning. Prince on deck. More MVP chance. Cabrera came into this one trailing Josh Hamilton in the RBI category. Miguel had 107. He now has 109. And Hamilton has 112. So he's closing the gap there. The 2-0. The outer edge, 2-1. Pretty close. Cabrera is also closing the gap in the average column. Trout leads the American League at 336, and Cabrera right now is at 327. That one just missed. Brzezinski held it there, but would not get the call from Lance Barksdale. 3-1.
Peavy is telling Lance Barksdale that was a strike.
Ooh, it was close.
Well, the previous pitch he called a strike, and that pitch was pretty much exactly the same spot as the 2-0 pitch.
Line drive to left, base hit. Dirk's on his way to second. He'll stop there, and the Tigers are in business now here in the 7th.
Take a look at Cabrera's at-bats in the game today. In the first inning, he got a hanging breaking ball from Jake Peavy, and he hit the ball out of the ballpark to left field, well over the Tigers' bullpen. Next time up, not the next time, but the 5th inning, a double on another breaking ball, and then this time he gets a fastball, and of course on the left he can trot. On the right, he has to sprint out of the batter's box because it's a double.
Meanwhile, Peavy gives up the baseball. He is done here in the 7th inning, allowing a walk and a single. Sox go to the pen. We'll be back.
Than this. Battling back and forth all season for the AL Central lead.
Way back, and that ball is gone.
The Tigers and White Sox square off tonight at Comerica Park. take home the AL Central crown.
Back here at Comerica Park, we are all tied up. It is a 4-4 game here in the bottom of the 7th inning. The Tigers are threatening, though. The Tigers have a couple of runners on and really some wasted opportunities tonight, Rod, for the White Sox. Tigers trying to bust through here.
Well, White Sox 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position, and meanwhile the Tigers are in business. They've got one of their sluggers up in that batter's box right now, and Prince Fielder with runners on first and second.
Doug Fister tonight not really quite as sharp as we've seen Doug, but boy, he battled through 5 innings.
He really did, and I think that growing problem of the right leg, it was problemsome for him tonight because he really couldn't push off, and just about everything that he threw today was up in that strike zone.
Prince puts this ball in the air down the left field line. That is a foul ball. Matt Thornton is the new pitcher.
The hard throwing Matt Thornton. Left-handers are hitting better this year against Thornton than they really ever have. He's got a power fastball that gets up to 97, 98 miles an hour. Right-handers are hitting 271 against him. Four walks tonight for Jake Peavy as well. So walks have been an issue for both clubs tonight.
Here's the 1-1 to Prince, and it hit him. Load him up. Hit by pitch. Nobody out with the bases loaded.
The 13th time that Prince Fielder has been hit this year. Only 2 other players in the American League have been hit more, and that's Josh Willingham and Kevin Youkilis.
Got him on the right shoulder, but I'm sure it had to hurt with Thornton.
He had nowhere to go.
So in mid-90s. So now the Tigers have a tremendous opportunity here. Bases loaded, nobody out in the 7th.
Well, Delman needs to get ready to hit that fastball. The last time he came up, there was a runner on third, less than 2 outs. And he did not get the job done. Big opportunity here.
Infield is in. Delman fouls it off. Time to turn this number around. Delman is 0 for 8 this year with the bases loaded. Dirks and Cabrera and Fielder. Line drive to left center, base hit. That might get 3 runs in. It's going to go to the warning track. 2-run score. Here comes Prince. They send him around, and he is safe. Throw to third, and he's out. Delman gets a double and drives in 3. Barely came through. What a huge hit.
Last couple of nights, the Tigers have not been very good with runners in scoring position. But it appeared that Delman got a little breaking ball at the bottom of the zone and whistled it up the gap. And by the time that Wise got over there, Gene Lamont, the third base coach, with Prince running, he realized it was going to be difficult for Wise to get the ball to the cutoff man. And then for Alexi Ramirez, even with his very strong throwing arm, to throw Prince Fielder out. So just outstanding coaching there by Gene Lamont, sending Prince Fielder home there. Cabrera directing traffic.
7-4, the Tigers have the lead. 2 of those runs belong to Peavy. And that is in there, a strike called on Bosch. 7 runs on 10 hits now for Detroit. And Delman has RBIs 55 and 56. Here's the 1-1 is sprayed foul back out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 6 extra base hits for the Tigers in this ball game. They've doubled up the hit totals on Chicago. 10-5,
And Peavy was scheduled to start on Wednesday in Baltimore, but Robin Ventura, they decided to back him up until today's start and to go up against Detroit. And if he stays on target, he'll also see Detroit when Detroit goes to Chicago on their next road trip.
So Peavy charged with 2 of the 3 runs here. He's responsible for 6 of the 7. It's fouled back out of play.
It is hard to go up against a club 5 times in a season.
I was going to ask you about that because I mean, clearly at that point, when you have hitters that have seen you that many times, you would think they have the advantage.
It's all about execution, and he really didn't execute today. He left some balls up in the zone early. Tigers hitters made him pay, and then they were able to get to him here in the 7th inning.
Now the 2-2, and it's strike 3 called. Bosch out on strikes, 2 away. First strikeout for Thornton. He's going to break up a velo with the bases empty. A slow night for Alex. He is 0 for 3, batting .248. 3-run 7th for Detroit. And as it typically does, it all started with a walk, a leadoff walk by Andy Dirks, who has had himself quite a night. Been on base 3 times and has knocked in a run. Avila sends it high in the air to left, fairly deep. Viciedo to the warning track, and that is that. Big inning though. Tigers breaking open 7-4 thanks to Delman. Detroit on top now 7-4 as we go to the 8th. Doug Fister, not a crisp evening tonight, but he gave the Tigers 5 innings. Cabrera 3 out of 4 having a big night, including a homer. And story of the game was right there in the bottom line. The White Sox 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position. They have left double-digit runners on the bases tonight. Big league debut now for Avisail Garcia, who will take over for Brendan Bosch out in right field.
Well, Jim said that he would use Garcia this way. Late in games as a defensive replacement. Doesn't really matter where he plays. He can play all 3 outfield positions. He's going to start tomorrow, Jim said.
Meanwhile, Joaquin Benoit will take over.
It's been a while since Benoit has been on the bump for his squad. Did not pitch in Kansas City. His numbers this year are outstanding. 3.16 ERA, 65 strikeouts for Joaquin. Last 3 years, Joaquin has been one of the best setup men in the American League. It's that simple.
Well, Gotel's inning and 2/3 has really helped because it has kind of bridged the gap now to Benoit in the 8th and hopefully Valverde in the 9th. Dwayne Wise will lead it off. 3-run game. And there's a ball outside. 1-0 on Wise, the leadoff man in the Chicago lineup.
Second tour of duty for Dwayne Wise in the Chicago White Sox uniform. And when he was designated for assignment, Kenny Williams jumped at the opportunity to bring him back as a fourth outfielder. And now with their leadoff hitter Diaz on the disabled list, Wise has filled in nicely.
Alejandro Diaz, bruised left ribs. He's on the way back. Here's the 1-1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Diaz was hitting .281 with 21 steals, so he was a big part of the top of their lineup.
He was scoring quite a few runs as well.
1-2 on Dwayne Wise. Fouled straight back. Wise has been busy tonight. He walked, stole a base, scored a run in the 6th, was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded in the 4th, which gave him an RBI. And a ball low and away. 2-2 on Wise. Tigers tonight with Fister, then Smiley, then Dotel, and Al Benoit. Euclid waiting on deck. And the 2-2 high, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Well, the Tiger rally started with a leadoff walk by Dirks in the 7th. Benoit trying to avoid the leadoff base on balls here in the 8th. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Fouled away. We'll do it again. Here's activity for the White Sox. Philip Umber is warming up.
Umber threw a perfect game this year, and since he threw that perfect game, he really hasn't done a whole lot for his club.
He's in the bullpen these days, so it really has been quite a swing for him. And another foul back out of play. White Sox keep grinding away their at bats tonight.
They've been battling.
Benoit is 7th among American League relievers with 65 strikeouts. Trying to get one here to start things off in the 8th. And he does. 1 out.
Hey fans, it's a back to school party this Monday when the Tigers battle the Indians at 105. All kids 14 and under receive a Gutsy Gear backpack and Tigers patch. Call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. Gutsy Gear backpack strap. Try saying that fast 3 times.
Negative. That's why you read the promos.
And how about the kids 14 and under? It's nothing but party on Monday. The parents are the ones that will be partying.
You got that right.
Kids going back to school.
Freedom. Strike 1 on Euclid. Kevin Euclid tonight is 0 for 3. Had a base on ball, scored a run back in the 3rd. Here's the 0-1 from Benoit. Swing and a miss. 0-2. A nice bounce back evening for the Tigers offense tonight. 7 runs on 10 hits after being shackled the last 2 nights in KC.
Somebody asked Jim Leland about that series in Kansas City when he met with the media this afternoon, and he quickly squashed that question. He said that's yesterday's breakfast. We can't chew on that anymore. We've got to play a first place team here, the White Sox, tonight, and we'll be ready to play.
Yeah, and when you think about it, that's really the only approach you can take. You have to think forward because you can't go back and change those games. As he says, they're in the books. And not a whole lot you can do about it. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss, and Euclid is out of there. Benoit with a couple of strikeouts, 2 away.
Is that Vulcan changeup located nicely at the bottom of the zone? Kevin Euclid, pretty good contact hitter, and it swung right over the top of. That's a real good look at it in Fox mode.
What an 8th inning weapon Benoit has been. He went through that stretch where he was giving up a lot of home runs, but has seemingly straightened things out now.
If anybody has been better the last 3 years, there aren't many in that role.
Here's Dunn in there, 0-1.
And Jim also has said every year in spring training, if he can get his club to where they're playing competitive games when they get to Labor Day weekend, then he feels pretty good about himself. And they are playing some competitive games and meaningful games.
Swing and a miss, 0-2. Now here comes the crowd. 36,721 tonight. Tigers trying to get back within 2 games in the Central. Here's the 0-2. Checked it. Did he go? No, he didn't. Gary Cedarstrom.
Joaquin was halfway to the dugout. He was convinced that Adam Dunn swung at that pitch.
I was pretty convinced too.
Let's take a peek. He went quite a ways.
Yes. He sure did. 1-2 the count. They played Dunn with that big shift to the right side of the infield. And the 1-2. Swing and a miss. He went around that time.
I see you, Joaquin.
Benoit making it look easy here in the 8th.
I see you.
Punch out, punch out, punch out. On a 1-2-3-8. Let's go to the bottom half. Big action in this game. We've been playing long ball here tonight. Miguel Cabrera, 2-run shot off Peavy in the first, made it 2-0. Pierzynski got one back for the White Sox with a solo shot.
And Johnny Peralta continues to get it done for the Tigers. He did a nice job in Kansas City. He continued that today. He hit a solo shot, but the biggest knock of the night belongs to Delman Young. That came back in the 7th inning when he doubled with the bases loaded and played at all 3 of them. French fielder was the 3rd one to score there.
And the biggest knock of the night belongs to Delman Young, and as a result now it's 7-4 in favor of Detroit as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Might as well tax him on. Got a new pitcher on now for the White Sox. Philip Umber is in.
Umber was in their starting rotation when the season began, but now finds himself pitching out of the bullpen with his earned run average approaching 6.
Umber's been a little bit better out of the pen for them. As Peralta leads it off, then Infante, then Jackson. Ground ball to third. Off the glove of Euclid to the shortstop, Ramirez, who throws him out.
That ball trickled off his hand.
Oh my goodness. Alexi Ramirez with an absolute cannon to throw him out.
Looked like it hit him in the knee first and then hit him in the hand. And Ramirez was Johnny on the spot.
The old 5-6-3. One out. Here is Omar Infante. Omar slicing one over the head of the second baseman Beckham. Will take a hard turn and hold up with a 1-out single. Put up another hit for the Tigers, their 11th of the night. Here's Jackson.
This might be one of those opportunities where Jim turns Infante loose to see if he can steal second base to get down in the scoring position.
No balls, 1 strike on Austin.
And Pierzynski's had a really nice offensive year, but his throwing numbers from behind the dish have not been that good this year. There's proof of that.
Jackson a triple and a run scored tonight. There goes the runner. Ball high. Throw down to second is high as well. It's a swipe for Omar Infante. That'll be his 2nd of the season.
Omar picked the right pitch to run on. It was a breaking ball, and Pierzynski had to wait for the ball to land in his glove. And by the time he got the ball in his glove, Infante was halfway to second base and sliding, getting up when the ball got down to Alexi Ramirez. Actually, it was Gordon Beckham who took the throw from Pierzynski.
Now a chance to drive in a run. Good pitch on the outer edge, and the count goes 1-2 on Jackson. Sox tonight have gone with Peavy, Thornton, and now Umber. Swing and a miss, and Jackson is retired.
It's the best breaking ball that Umber has thrown in the inning. He got on top of this one and got it down in an unhittable area for Austin.
Well, it was back on April 21st in which he threw a perfect game at Safeco Field, the 21st perfect game in Major League history. Didn't walk anybody. He struck out 9 in that game. Dirks looks at a ball low. It all came together on that day for Philip Umber. 1 for 2 for Dirks. He doubled in a run in the second, but started the big 7th inning off with a walk. Tigers got 3 in that frame. 2-0. Konerko, Rios, and Pierzynski will be due up when we get to the 9th. Meanwhile, Euclid still feeling the effects of that hard ground ball. Popped up foul, back out of play. 2-1 on Dirks. And he now has a 6-game hitting streak, 341 in the month of August coming into play, and he's added to those numbers tonight. Grounded foul. 2-2. Jose Valverde going to that place, getting zoned in. They're zoned out.
Zoned somewhere.
2-2 on Dirks. And taking too long, and he steps out. Make it 3-2.
Not only did Umber throw a perfect game this year, but Matt Cain threw a perfect game this year, and King Felix. So 3 perfect games this year.
Forgot about the one that King Felix threw.
I mean, there's only been 24 in the history of the game, 3 this year.
That's crazy. Pop him up. Euclid at third base, waiting. And Dirks is out. So are the Tigers. They threaten but do not score. Here comes Papa Grande making his final preparations. Chicago as Papa Grande checks in. It is 7-4 in favor of Detroit.
Well, just like Joaquin did not get any action in Kansas City, it did not affect the way that he went after the Chicago White Sox in the 8th inning, striking out the sign. Let's hope for the same type of results here from Valverde. We'll just take a 1-2-3 from Jose.
I'm all for that. I'm definitely all for that.
Hey fans, you can follow the Tigers with the MLB.com at Bat12 for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Windows Mobile. You can get live audio pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at Bat to 31826 or visit Tigers.com for details.
It's one of my favorite things every night, watching Prince after infield is done, to run over there and hand out a souvenir.
Every inning he does that?
I don't know if he does it every inning, but I notice him doing it every now and then. It's a cool thing.
He's a good guy.
That he is. Paul Konerko standing in. It'll be Konerko to lead things off, and then Rios and Pierzynski facing Papa Grande. First pitch low, 1-0. It'll be Scherzer tomorrow night, and then Liriano in game 2 in the series. But business to take care of here in the 9th inning. That would be getting 3 more outs. Two 2-0. 2 RBIs tonight for Konerko. To this point, a game of multiple missed opportunities for the White Sox with 11 left on base.
Yeah, it's the other club for a change. We'll take that.
How about that?
We'll take that.
Benoit pitched in the 8th, struck out the side. Now Valverde here in the 9th. And that's skied in the air. A mile high to center field. Jackson waiting for it, and it falls into his glove for out number 1. Good start. Here's Rios. Only 5 White Sox hits tonight, but they have 4 runs. And Rios is 0 for 4. We'll drive this one to center. Routine for AJ. Just about in his tracks. 2 gone. 1 more out to get. That'll bring the crowd to its feet. I don't think Robin Ventura's moved all night. Nope. Here is AJ Pierzynski. AJ homered way back in the 2nd. And he's also doubled. I said earlier, you might look back to the 4th inning in this game as the turning point, because Fisker was struggling. He hit a batter with the bases loaded to tie the game. They had to load it up with nobody out, and that's all that they would get. Fisker then got a line out, a strikeout, and a ground out. Huge missed opportunity for Chicago. Meanwhile, Delman Young took care of a bases loaded situation in the 7th, doubling in 3. Check swing. Did he go? Negative. Gary Cedarstrom down there at 3rd. 2-0 on Pierzynski. DY with the big hit tonight. Hopefully it'll stand up. 3-0 now on Pierzynski. OJ trying to keep it going for Viciedo, waiting on deck. And there's ball 4. It's a 4-pitch walk for Pierzynski, so the door is kept open a little bit. Bring a Viciedo. Single and a walk tonight for Viciedo. Valverde looking for a save here in game 1 of the series. And he missed outside ball 1. It would be save number 27, but he has thrown 5 straight out of the strike zone now. We'll bring Avila out to the mound. Tigers 1 out away from going to 8-4 against the White Sox this year. Runner goes uncontested. They will give him second base. Pierzynski's in there standing up. And now here comes Jeff Jones as the count goes to 2-0 on Viciedo. Well, he got the first 2 on fly balls.
Hey fans, you know the drill by now. As soon as the game ends, you'll hear from the manager, Jim Leland. That'll be part of Tigers Live. Plus, we'll break down the game, show you all the highlights. Tigers Live immediately after the game from the Call Sam Studios, where Shannon Hogan and Craig Monroe are standing by.
Two balls, no strikes on Dayan Viciedo.
Simo's everywhere. He was down at the yard earlier today.
About to say the same thing. All over the place. 2-0.
Trying to get that gas money.
That's a little pitch. It's in for a strike, 2-1. Oh, man.
You got to put on your expenses now.
Sometimes I don't know how you come up with this stuff.
Gas is expensive.
It is that. So I can see you lobbying for it.
You see when he drives?
No.
Old truck.
Here's the 2-1. Fouled out of play. Now it's 2-2, and Valverde 1 strike away. (36, 7, 2-1) on their feet right now. And the 2-2. Got him, strike 3. Valverde strikes out Viciedo looking. And round 1 in this 3-game series goes to the Tigers.
Great comeback win tonight for the Detroit Tigers after getting swept in Kansas City. And they were led by Miguel Cabrera and Delman Young and the bullpen. That bullpen was stellar.
Joaquin Benoit struck out the side. Andy Dirks had a big night. And Valverde put the capper on this one. Viciedo disagreed with Lance Barksdale, but it caught the inside corner. And that means Valverde is able to dance. So the Tigers now gain a game in the standings with 2 to go in this series, and Detroit finds themselves just 2 behind the Chicago White Sox. Tigers win their 70th game of the year. Final score in this one, Tigers win it 7-4. Back with more from the ballpark.